A Eternum awaits. Welcome back, guys. So it's about 24 hours from the time I'm making this video that we're going to be able to jump back into New World for the open beta. So you don't need to have pre-ordered or anything like that. Check the link in the description for the video I done about a week ago telling you all you need to know about how you can get in to the open beta. As I say, you don't need to spend a penny. So if you haven't checked New World out, you might as well. Why not? But I want to answer one question today, and I don't think I'm going to be able to answer it. So could be quite a pointless video. But will New World stand the test of time? Will it be around for a long time? Will the excitement, the hype, will it all be fleeting and it'll pass quicker than me after a Vindaloo? I want to get a couple of topics out of the way which I personally think could hinder its success. Now let's start. Oh, before we do start, obviously, make sure you hit the like button if you like this video. Even if you didn't like it, hit the like button because it really helps out. And consider subscribing to the channel for more future content. I was going to say New World content, but obviously World of Warcraft. All games, any game, anything that's in the spotlight at the time, I'll be making videos about. Thank you. So look, I always worry when it comes to MMOs which are free to play or have a box cost and no subscription. It really does put pressure on the company down the line to obviously make money to fund future content. Now let's think with how much it costs to make an MMO, which is a lot of money. Yes, it will probably make profit on the box sales alone because it's a successful game already and it's only in the open beta. It's going to do very well. We know that. But that's still only a one-time payment. But the developers, the community managers, the operations team, the toilet cleaner, even the tea boy who just wanted a job to get his foot in the door and he didn't really care what he was doing, ultimately need paying. And they don't just need paying once, they need paying every single month. This is a monthly outgoing with the only income being from new sales, which is finite. And we know it's the surge at the start where 1 million players rush out and buy the game. Then it will slow down and it will trickle along for, X amount of time, maybe into a massive future content patch which pulls in another wider audience. Who knows what's going to happen down the line. Think Wrath of the Lich King or TBC, in fact. I mean, TBC brought in arguably more players than actually Wrath of the Lich King did. Wrath of the Lich King just kept them. This is where the pressure comes for companies to find new ways of making money. Yeah, okay, there's cosmetics at the moment, but I would say we'd all be very naive to think that that's where it's going to stay. This is what annoys me with Blizzard. We pay a monthly subscription, yet they still try to find ways to claw extra money out of us, which it is quite irritating. If there was no sub cost with Blizzard, then the addition of monetization would be expected and probably wouldn't bother many of us. And this is how I expect it to go with New World because of the lack of subscription. Done wrong, monetization can be absolutely terrible. Done right, it can be overlooked. Think Star Wars The Old Republic. That is plagued with cosmetics and things that you can buy from the store, even XP and things like that. The cartel market is what it's called, and it's extensive. It's huge. But it doesn't really get in the way of the game, and because it's free to play, you're still better off paying for a subscription, to be completely honest. But because it's free to play, you look past it. You're not really bothered because you don't need to buy it, and the game doesn't cost you any money to play. So you expect them to have to make some money somewhere to keep the servers online. Now, it's a very personal thing, but I don't particularly like seeing someone rocking a really cool set or a skin on a character or a weapon skin, anything really, that I really want to equip because it just looks that good. But then you realise the only way you can get it is by buying it on a store. Now, again, this is a very personal opinion, but cosmetics are normally accepted. But I think personally, anything you can buy in-game, you should be able to obtain from normal means. Even if it takes months. It takes months and months of grinding or farming or reputation farming or whatever you need to do to get this skin. Or, as long as there's no power gain, you don't have to wait. You can spend real money, support the developers because ultimately that's what you're doing. You're supporting the game for future content when you make these purchases. And get it sooner, which is fine. But you should always be able to get the things from the store, in my opinion at least, without spending real money. This isn't what the video is about, by the way. This was probably one of my primary concerns. It's actually the next concern, which I think would affect the player base more than monetization. So many MMOs have come and gone. Yeah, we're on the second point now. I thought I'd better let you know. Or they're still about, but just hanging on for dear life. I want to get it out there right away. I'm really looking forward to jumping back into New World, and I loved the beta, but can it survive the test of time? That's ultimately the question. I genuinely am leaning towards no. The main reason for it is we expect a lack of content at launch when it comes to new games nowadays, especially when you're comparing them to the big MMOs like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV, because they've had years to build that content up. Although in WoW's case, they normally make all previous content fairly irrelevant, but Bad game design. And I say nowadays because actually I don't know whether it's laziness or just the pressure of having to get games on the shelves as quickly as possible, but you only have to look at original World of Warcraft. The content that came with it at launch was huge. It probably explains its success. Just think about the amount of dungeons, think about how long it took to level, all the professions, there was so much, all the different classes, it was really polished for a brand new game. And first impressions, unfortunately, mean everything. If you get to max level and get bored or run out of things to entertain you in a week or so, you're probably unlikely to return because your view of the game will be tainted. If you love PvP, in all honesty, I'd say you're not going to bore very quickly of this, because the game was designed with PvP heavily in mind. In fact, there was very little PvE until Amazon Games listened to player feedback and redesigned so much and added a reasonable amount of content to please the PvE-focused players. The problem is, by today's standards, there just isn't enough of it at launch. There isn't even instance raids. I specifically say instanced because there is world bosses, but there'll be massive amounts of players who expect challenging endgame content in the form of larger group PvE, which is in an instance. They have 5-man expeditions. I consider 5-man group play the gearing stage before the real PvE, which, okay, let's cut to the chase. Yes, I'm a WoW player, and I am comparing this to the WoW-esque style of raiding, but there's a lot of people who like that. There's a lot of people who expect that. That's why Star Wars The Old Republic is still going just about, not just because of its amazing single-player storylines, which they are amazing, by the way, but also it does have raids. It has larger scale group content, even though it is very easy. You can still get a group of you together and go and battle massive bosses, and, it's what people, or what the majority of PvEers look forward to in an expansion or in a new launch, whatever. It's the getting the gearing stage out of the way and then doing the raiding. Now, you could say, well, no, that's just World of Warcraft players, but it's really not. Raiding is a big part of loads of games, including even first-person shooters like Destiny 2. I've been playing that a little bit recently. Getting larger groups together for PvE-focused content is expected by large numbers of MMO players. And by the way, I've played pretty much every MMO that's launched in the last 20 years in some way, shape or form. Maybe bored quickly, or maybe played all the way to endgame. But any of them that launched without decent endgame PvE really didn't keep their player base for very long. Even those that did launch with half-decent endgames, such as Star Wars, for example. It had raids and had multiple difficulties, but it was so easy that it may as well have just been boxes that you ran around and looted once a week to see what gear you ended up with. And yes, I did clear all content at launch and loved every minute of it, but that's because I'm a Star Wars geek. I mean, let's be honest, an ex-Star Wars Galaxy's die-hard lover of Star Wars, and even the Old Republic couldn't hold me, because of the lack of challenging content. What hope is there for New World to hold my attention with no endgame at all? We're all different, and the endgame may not bother you, so I don't want this video to deter you from trying the game, because it truly is brilliant, and the crafting system alone could keep you busy for months to come. But once you've made some amazing gear, if other than PvP there isn't anywhere to go and put it to good use, what's the point? This, as you can tell, is my primary concern outside of monetization. The combat's fun, the housing system's great, the world feels alive, the PvP's fast-paced and highly skill-based. From my perspective, it's almost perfect. Nowadays, though, almost perfect doesn't fly with a lot of people. An example would be this video. Someone will sit and agree with 90% of what I've said, but I'll say one small portion of a sentence that someone don't agree with. What are they going to comment about? The 99% they agree with, or the 1% that they didn't like? It's always the 1%. People are like that nowadays, unfortunately, especially gamers. We will moan about everything. It's just what we do, and yes, I'm including myself in that. So if there's a lack of endgame PvE, it's going to be all over Reddit 2 weeks after launch, mark my words. That is without Amazon Games dangling a carrot. It's the carrot I'm looking forward to and hoping for. Just a tweet or a forum post saying that shortly after launch there'll be great threats looming for players to get 24 of their friends to go and lay a beat down on a big old dragon. That really would be enough to squash my worries. What do you think's going to happen with New World? Honestly, do you think it's going to be around for years? Do you think it's going to slowly siphon in players away from other big MMOs such as WoW, such as Final Fantasy XIV? Guild Wars 2, there's so many that are doing so well at the moment. Will New World join those big boys, or could monetization, lack of PvE content really bring them down, hold them back, however you want to word it? Let me know in the comments. And just so you know, I will be covering a lot on New World, including like really good builds, you know, weapon builds, class builds, ways of making easy gold, all that sort of thing. The standard stuff that you expect from somebody who makes MMO content. I am going to be doing it, and I'm going to be starting to get ready during this open beta. So make sure you stop by the stream, Scottejaye87 on Twitch or SJ Gaming Live on YouTube. Until next time, like and subscribe, maybe join the channel. See you on the next one.